Your cat attacked your dog for absolutely no reason. No warning, no growl, no buildup, just a perfectly calm afternoon. And then suddenly, fur and chaos. And the thing that makes it so unsettling is that you watched the whole thing happen and still couldn't explain it. Most people assume the cat is just mean or jealous or that the two animals will never get along, but that explanation is almost always wrong. Here's what's actually going on. The conventional wisdom says cats attack dogs out of dominance or territorial instinct. And sometimes, sure, that's part of it. But the research tells a completely different story, one that most pet owners never hear. A lot of these attacks aren't aggression at all, they're misfires, neurological events, chemical misunderstandings, and in some cases, your cat wasn't even reacting to your dog. Your dog just happened to be standing in the wrong place. I've gone through the science on this, from ASPCA research to veterinary studies to animal behavior literature, and what I found genuinely surprised me. We're going to go through 10 reasons your cat may have attacked your dog, ranked by how shocking they actually are. And by the time we're done, you're going to look at your cat completely differently. Let's start with one that almost no one knows about. Your dog came home from the vet, and your cat genuinely did not recognize them. This sounds almost too simple to be real, but smell is everything to a cat. Not just important, everything. Cats build a shared household scent, a chemical fingerprint that every animal in the home contributes to. It's how they know who belongs and who doesn't. When your dog goes to the vet, that fingerprint gets completely overwritten. Disinfectants, antiseptics, the stress pheromones of every other animal in that clinic, all of it soaks into your dog's coat. And when your dog walks back through the front door, your cat's nose is screaming, stranger, not your dog, a stranger wearing your dog's face. The attack that follows isn't aggression. It's a security response to what the cat's most reliable sense is telling it is an intruder. And the fix is actually straightforward. Give them time to reestablish that shared scent before forcing a reunion. But most owners never know this is happening, so they never do anything about it. That's important. But there's another scent-based trigger that works slightly differently, and this one can happen anytime your dog steps outside. Cats create a group scent that functions like a household ID system. Every member contributes to it, and every member is recognized by it. But if your dog rolls in something outside, gets petted by a stranger, or picks up the smell of another animal, even briefly, it temporarily breaks that shared profile. To your cat's nose, your dog suddenly smells like an outsider wearing familiar packaging. The attack isn't about behavior, it's about identity. Your cat isn't attacking your dog, it's attacking the foreign chemical signature your dog is currently wearing, and you'd never know because by the time you notice the fight, the scent is already on your dog and the cat is already reacting. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting because the next reason has nothing to do with smell at all and everything to do with timing. The attack happened up to hours before the actual attack. Read that again. Your cat saw something through a window, a stray cat, a bird, a squirrel, and got flooded with adrenaline. That arousal state doesn't just disappear, it lingers. And 45 minutes later, your dog walks into the room, calm, wagging, completely unaware, and the cat unloads on them. This is called redirected aggression, and it's one of the most documented and least understood phenomena in feline behavior. The ASPCA specifically notes that the delay between the original trigger and the redirected attack can be hours. Hours. Your dog was never the cause. It was just the closest available target when the cat's nervous system finally found an outlet. And here's the part that makes it so confusing. Most owners never find the original trigger because it's already gone. The stray walked away, the bird flew off, there's nothing to see. So all you're left with is a dog that got attacked for apparently no reason at all. But redirected aggression doesn't always come from outside the window. Sometimes it comes from inside the house. If two cats in your home have a spat, even a minor one, the cat that ends up on the losing side of that interaction is still flooded with stress hormones. And if your dog walks up in that moment, even to sniff, even to check in, that dog becomes the new target. The cat's aggression was aimed somewhere else entirely. Your dog just happened to walk into the room first. This is one of the most common misread situations in multi-pet households. The cat seems fine, the dog seems fine, and then suddenly the dog gets attacked, and no one saw the original conflict that set the whole thing off. Now, this next one is the one that genuinely stopped me when I first read it, because it reframes what an attack even is. Some of these attacks may not be aggression at all, they may be seizures. There's a condition called feline hyperesthesia syndrome, sometimes called rolling skin disease, and it's still not fully understood. But some veterinary neurologists believe it involves aberrant electrical activity in the parts of the brain that control emotion, grooming, and predatory behavior. During an episode, a cat may suddenly become frantic, vocalize, attack nearby animals or people, and then, within 1 to 2 minutes, return to completely normal behavior. Owners watching this almost universally interpret it as a sudden aggression episode. But what they may actually be witnessing is a neurological event the cat has zero control over. The cat isn't choosing to attack. Something is misfiring in its brain, and your dog happened to be nearby when it happened. That's a completely different problem than a behavioral one, and it requires a completely different response, specifically a conversation with a vet, not a training protocol. Speaking of things that require a vet, this next one is almost never caught by owners because the cat looks completely fine. An overactive thyroid can turn a calm cat into an unpredictable attacker. Hyperthyroidism causes a massive hormonal surge that creates restlessness, hyperarousal, and a dramatically shortened fuse. Researchers have specifically linked hyperthyroidism to aggression in cats, noting its major effect on nervous system development and function. And here's the cruel irony: hyperthyroid cats often look healthy, they're energetic, sometimes even more active than usual. Owners see a lively cat, not a sick one. But internally, that cat is running at a neurological intensity that makes every interaction feel threatening. Your dog approaching for a sniff isn't a friendly greeting anymore. It's an intrusion into an already overwhelmed system. A simple blood test catches this. It's treatable, and in some cases, treating it resolves the aggression almost entirely. If your cat has had multiple unexplained attacks and otherwise seems healthy, this is the first thing to rule out. Now, before we get to the last few, if this is the kind of content that makes you think differently about your pets, subscribe. We go deep on animal behavior, and there's a lot more on this channel that will genuinely change how you see the animals you live with. Drop a comment below too. Tell me if your cat has ever done this to your dog, because based on the research, I think a lot of you are going to recognize something here. All right, this next one is about something most people would never think to connect to aggression: declawing. A study found that declawed cats show significantly higher rates of biting, aggression, and hypervigilance compared to cats that were not declawed. And the reason makes complete sense once you understand it. A cat's claws are its primary defense mechanism. When those are removed, the cat doesn't feel safer. It feels permanently exposed. On top of that, the procedure can cause chronic nerve damage and lasting pain, pain that the cat, like all cats, is genetically wired to hide. So, what you end up with is an animal that is in constant low level pain, has lost its main tool for establishing boundaries, and is perpetually on high alert. When your dog approaches that cat, even gently, even playfully, it's approaching an animal that has no safe margin left. The bite that follows isn't random. It's the only defense mechanism that cat still has. And here's the thing about pain in general, because this connects to something broader. Cats are extraordinary at hiding injury. It's a survival instinct from their wild ancestors. Show weakness and you become prey. So, a cat with an undiagnosed abscess, an arthritic joint, a spinal issue, that cat is walking around your house looking completely normal until your dog nudges it in exactly the wrong spot. The explosive reaction that follows looks completely unprovoked, but the cat's body was already a loaded trigger. Your dog didn't cause the pain. It just made contact with something that was already there. This is one of the most important things on this entire list because if your cat has had repeated unexplained attacks on your dog, especially if the attacks seem to happen during physical contact, pain is one of the first things a vet needs to rule out. Now, let's talk about something that sounds simple but runs deeper than most people realize. Your dog's eye contact was read as a direct predatory challenge. Dogs and cats have fundamentally opposite social languages. In dog society, eye contact is a bonding gesture, affectionate, connective. In cat society, sustained direct eye contact is a threat display. It's what a predator does right before it strikes. So, when your dog stares at your cat, tail wagging, body relaxed, completely well intentioned, your cat is reading a completely different message. It sees a predator locking eyes before an attack, and it responds accordingly. The attack that follows isn't aggression, it's a preemptive defense response to what the cat genuinely interpreted as an incoming threat. Your dog was being friendly. Your cat thought it was about to be hunted. And finally, the one that may be the most surprising of all. Your cat may have been releasing alarm pheromones, and your dog walked straight into the middle of them. In stressful situations, a vet visit, an encounter with an unfamiliar animal, even a loud noise, cats release chemical alarm signals. These aren't metaphorical. They're actual molecules that linger in the environment and communicate danger. These don't disappear the moment the stressor is gone. If your cat is still chemically alarmed from an earlier event and your dog walks over and starts sniffing them, the cat may interpret that sniffing as an intrusion into an active threat state, and it responds the way any animal would respond to something investigating it while it's already in a fear response. It attacks, not because of the dog, because of chemistry that was already in motion before the dog arrived. So let's bring this all together. Your cat attacked your dog for no reason, except there was always a reason. You just couldn't see it. Maybe the attack happened hours after the original trigger and the actual cause had already walked away. Maybe your dog came home from the vet smelling like a stranger. Maybe your cat was in the middle of a neurological episode it had no control over. Maybe there's an undiagnosed thyroid condition or chronic pain or the lasting effects of a procedure that took away its primary defense. Maybe your dog made eye contact and your cat read it as a declaration of war. The point is this: almost none of these are behavioral problems. They're medical issues, sensory mismatches, and neurological events that look like aggression from the outside, and that changes everything about how you respond to them. If your cat has had repeated unexplained attacks, especially if they seem random, brief, or completely out of character, the most important thing you can do is get a vet involved before you do anything else. Rule out pain, rule out hyperthyroidism, consider whether there's a pattern to when the attacks happen and what might have occurred in the hour or two before them. Because once you know what you're actually dealing with, the solution usually becomes obvious. If this video made you see your cat differently, or if you finally have an explanation for something that's been confusing you for months, share it with someone who has the same situation. And watch the video on why cats knock things off tables next, because that one has a similarly surprising answer. I'll see you there.